Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Rockin' Beards podcast. We have a distracted Syd. We have
I'm
HSR.
just opening up my favorite comment of last week, or
That's
our
fair.
favorite comment of last week.
That's fair. Just throwing it out there for the people who know that we're engaged. Anyway, so just in case you're new here, this is a podcast, and you can skip this little speech in the description below. You'll see where the episode starts. We go through albums, we talk about them track by track, we give our opinions, we let you know how we feel, what we thought. And yeah, we're not pros. We're just guys. We just have some thoughts and
Just
opinions. And
Just a couple
we-
of dudes.
exactly. So we just tell you that as a preface because you may know more, and we want to hear what you have to say in the comments. We care about that shit. And just to show you, we're going to show our favorite comment from last week, which is from Jay, Johnny Vieira, who
Used to be on this show.
yeah, so I mean, this one's a bit cheap, but it's technically on last week's or 2 weeks ago's Henry Rollins Wait video, and he says, "Free ABBA, bring back disco," because he wanted us to do ABBA, and he wanted us to cover disco. And
So that was our favorite comment. We liked it.
and there was some other stuff kind of commenting about the awesomeness of the vibe of Henry Rollins. It was our Patreon request raffle thing, so big ups to our patrons, Mozart, Super Old School 1994, and the guy who won the request raffle, Mr. Lindell Williams.
Sorry I wasn't there, guys. I'll be there for the next one.
And he seemed to think it was cool. Anyway, that's all that. That's our introduction part where we talk about very little relevant to you. And now we're gonna go ahead and have Sydney go introduce the album that we'll be talking about today.
This week, we are doing Rage Against the Machine's classic debut self-titled album, out in 1994, and still one of the most influential rock, rap, funk, metal hybrids to date to ever be unleashed onto the mainstream. It's a great album. I'm super excited about it. If you couldn't tell, I like this album. I've been listening to Rage Against the Machine since I was like fucking 11 or something. I don't know,
do
man.
have to just make a little correction because I googled. It's 91 that this album came out.
91 this album came out?
Yeah, I just did the
really?
Google. Well, I was Killing in the Name dropped in 91 according to Google, which I have right here, and it says that. So I felt like if we were in, or 92 the album came out in. Sorry. I checked the album,
That could
Killing
be
in the
possible.
Name. So 92, just don't crucify us. We're checking here, okay? So yeah, it came out in 92, and I just wanted to throw that out because I felt the comment coming, and I felt that was a little off.
Yeah, no, that's right. 92. My B.
But yeah, still early 90s, and kind of maybe was something that a lot of new metal folk may have tried to draw from.
Definitely. This was, again, like Faith No More and the Red Hot Chili Peppers were kind of doing this kind of funk metal hybrid in the 80s, but then Rage just came along and just fucked shit up with this debut. And then Korn happened, and Deftones happened, and Limp Bizkit happened, and new metal happened, and
Right.
the rest is history. But
I'm a little less connected to the band than you. So there are the songs that everybody and their mother and brother know, just in my opinion, Killing in the Name. I wasn't huge on Bulls on Parade, I'm not going to lie, so I didn't spend a lot of time with it.
Bulls on Parade!
And this is because I was a little bit more ignorant. I didn't necessarily understand a lot of what their music was about when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because I didn't care about global politics or corruption and things like that. So without that context of what the fuck they're mad about, it is a little hard to jump on it. Even Killing in a Name, I didn't realize what the song was about until I was older and I paid attention and I'm like, fuck police.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is too that Rage has that very unique position of being a gateway band for people who would never otherwise listen to hard rock or metal just because of that political activism that's so present in their music, right? Like they're the kind of band that someone will be wearing a Rage Against the Machine shirt 5 days out of 7 a week, be a complete hippie, never listen to anything else heavy, but swear by Rage Against the Machine because of what they did for the American consciousness.
Right.
Right?
And then, there's so many cool stories. Then when you think about, Testify is one of my favorites. I
Great
think,
song.
I'm pretty sure that's the one that quotes George Orwell. And I don't think I would have read 1984 if it wasn't for Rage Against the Machine. And they definitely helped raise consciousness in me, as you just said there. So yes, they definitely had that impact a little bit on me. So definitely listening to this album, I slapped myself inside. I was like, I like this way more. Like, it should not have taken me 30 years to listen to this album.
Yeah.
I'm like, literally going into it, I knew one song. That's
Filling
it.
on the name.
That's it. I all the other songs I know are off of the other albums. And then I found out they made a covers album, and it blew my mind. And I
Yeah.
spent some time with that because there
That-
were a couple of interesting rap songs that they covered with their Rage style. And it was like, that's so weird.
That'll be the record that broke them up.
Oh, was that like there was beef over
Yeah,
it? They weren't
yeah.
happy with that?
It was not a record that the whole band wanted to. I could be wrong, but from what I understand, it's not a record that the entire band wanted to release. It was not something that was a collective decision. Like, yeah, we're gonna do a covers album, and that's gonna be what our next record is gonna be. Like, no, I don't think that was the Rage Against the Machine mentality.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
Nah.
As much as some of the covers are very, relevant and influential on their music,
Yeah, I mean,
it's a little off-brand.
it seemed like a weird choice when I was reading the wikis and stuff, but I don't know enough about it. But honestly, what got me to want to do this album specifically, it was the cover, actually. Because it's I don't remember what shit I was learning about or watching, but somebody like brought up how Rage used their cover. Even their cover was used to send a political message by showing the burning Buddhist monk that was the catalyst in the 60s that sparked some shit about anti-war and whatnot. I don't fully know the story. I know it enough to know that it made JFK or one of these guys change their policies, and it sparked American outrage back then. So given the intent of the album,
Long story short, the cover is actually a picture of a monk setting himself on fire.
Tibetan one?
Tibetan monk, yeah.
Yeah.
Setting himself on fire and burning himself to death in protest.
Yeah,
That is what this album cover is. In black and white, it is a straight
but
up
it's like
photo.
the actual photo.
It's the actual photo
And
of this happening.
Photo,
Yeah.
That specific photo sparked almost a conscious revolution in the 60s.
Yeah.
So it's such a potent and poignant, like, I think it's everything Kanye hoped the Daytona cover was going to be.
Okay.
That was the one where he used Whitney Houston's Crack Bathroom thingy as Pusha T's Crack album cover and whatnot. I think that's
Can't
what,
fuck with Ye. But, like,
I mean, I think that's what he was going for, is that kind of powerful visual impact, a symbol that was already consciously understood as something that communicated clearly the intent of what this project was going to be.
anyway.
Love it. And then the self-titledness of the album, it doesn't need to say anything else. It also
It says Rage Against the Machine, which is what they want you to do.
it's pretty effective.
Yeah.
Like they used brevity in a way that is pretty good. Anyway, Bombtrack is the first song on this shit.
At a level that drops to me. Instead, I wore my hands upon the flames of the flag. So
All right, Syd, start us off. How do you feel about this?
I mean, fuck, man. Like, in a lot of ways, this song, being the first track on this album, is kind of an introduction to what metal was going to be in the 90s, right? Like, a lot of funk, a lot of groove, very slowed down, very halftime, very reminiscent of a lot of those 70s big blues riffs like Sabbath and Zeppelin were doing, which is what, the song starts off with the, like, unison guitar and bass playing there, do 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 do, which, again, another beautiful example. It's the first one of many on the record, but a beautiful example of how unison can be used just as well as harmonies, which Rage Against the Machine are so good at doing, like those big pentatonic blues riffs that just make you want to groove, make you want to headbang. Just a simple title, big rap verse, not like easing you into the political content. Not really a specific target on this track, more just he's kind of just flossing, but like
Well, we'll go there.
you'll get into that, but like, and then just how the verse is just so funky and so subdued, and then it just gets into that huge fucking chorus of just burn, yes you're gonna burn, and you're looking at the cover and it's like a picture of this guy burning, right? And that's the first track of just burn, yes you're gonna burn, and like, it's Tom Morello's guitar playing. You get the first introduction to his weird, wacky, ridiculous guitar playing that would define a generation after this. This is a 5-on-5 for me.
Okay. So, I really like this song, but it's my least favorite song on the album. Now, it only gets better from here, I suppose. Now, that doesn't mean I dislike this song anyway. it's just not a 5-on-5 to me. Mostly because the chorus, I understand it, I don't feel it. And the riff is not my favorite. There are much better riffs on the album, in my opinion. But at the same time, stylistically, the passion, the power, like, when I want to fuck shit up, this is better than any other fuck shit up sound that I've ever heard. And this is my least favorite song on the album. And it's already better than every other fuck shit up thing I've ever heard. Just understand. You gotta
chorus-wise, they don't do
I
catchy
like
hooks, right?
every other chorus on the album more than this one.
Fair enough.
And that's just it. Because the verses are hype, though, right? Because he's like, yeah, it's just another bomb track, and suckers thinking they can fade this. Pretty classic hip-hop. And I like how he does that lyrically. He comes in a way where, like, a lot of other rappers are doing. I'm king shit. I'm the best. I'm able to do it. You can't fuck with my style. I think I've heard that song, the You Can't Fuck With My Style song, on every album that we've done on our Classic Quest show.
But this one's a little different.
It does.
A little different.
It changes up a bit.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm going to drop it at a higher level, so he's even better. Still pretty cliche. That's fine. Because I'm inclined to stoop down, hand out some beatdowns, still on point. Could run a train on punk hoes that think they run the game. Brutaler, not going to lie. It's a little more brutal because you don't often hear about how he's going to run. You know, that's a little...
I mean, there's that aggression too, right? And this is coming out of the 80s where hip-hop was a lot of like, I went to the store.
This is like as gangster rap and hard shit's like taking over.
It's coming up, right?
No. Like 3-4 years in.
Right, but it's like it's been on the rise, but now it's like
the Chronic
in the consciousness
is
and now we're
out
starting.
now, you
Now
know?
we're starting to like blend it with.
But
the
I'm
heavy
saying
shit,
that
like-
rhymes haven't been that corny for like since about '87 in hip hop.
Fair enough.
I'm just trying to defend hip hop's corniness. Like, dude, fuck the police came out in like '87 or '8 or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But when
like
did Boys in the Hood come out?
like '91 or '92.
Well, that's still some corny shit.
Yeah, but that's a movie. Anyway, but I learned anyway. So he's still writing like whatever, and he comes up with this extreme language. But he's still talking about other rappers and shit at this point, right? And then he goes, "But I learned to burn that bridge and delete." Like, but fuck that shit. It's boring. And that's when I got interested. I got like hooked. Like, that is not what you're expecting, right? So he's just like, fuck that. You're all hip hop game. You're trying to be king of New York shit. I ain't got time for that. And I really appreciate that. Weirdly enough, J. Cole has a very similar feeling on that.
Yeah.
And
Like
then
there's real shit to talk about.
exactly. And so those who compete at that level, that's obsolete. You're irrelevant if you're still talking. I'm like, oh, Zach just dropped the diss of disses. He just took on hip hop and said, fuck you. Not that I don't know how they felt about him, but it's ill rhyming. It is. The thing is that he's doing it while staying pure to what hip hop is in the way that he's doing it, even if the music might not sound like that. But to be fair, Anthrax did their song right around this time too with fucking Public Enemy. So
well, again, I mean, these Mr. Bungle, Faith No More, Red Hot Chili Peppers, like these bands were doing it, but this brought a real heaviness to it.
But he also is a ill fucking undebatable rapper.
Yes, absolutely. And that but the verses are so funky that it's like you can't help but hear hip hop over this, right? Like,
but it definitely, like, he's a grade A rapper. Like, I'm just trying to throw it out there. Like, other guys were not rapping to this level of power. Like, I'm just saying. Like, I get this. I'm this excited on my least favorite track. Anyway, instead I wore my hands upon the flames of the flag to recall the downfall of the business that burnt us all, see through the news and the views that twist reality. Enough, I caught a bluck. Fuck manifest destiny. So here he's like paying attention to the system. He's calling bullshit on everything. And then I found out that manifest destiny is basically, I don't remember exactly what it was. Something about the bettering. It's basically the convoluted American dream that betters people who like are part of, like, basically if you're...
No, Manifest Destiny was
Is that the expansionist shit?
Yeah.
That's the justification for colonialism and the slave trade and all that bullshit.
Not colonialism.
I don't know.
The states were separate, and Manifest Destiny was... Correct me if I'm wrong again, because this is high school history. But Manifest Destiny was the concept that the states should own... I think they wanted to own Canada, too. Like, all of North America was supposed to be the United States under Manifest Destiny, I think.
So basically, we don't know what it is, but yeah, he went. I read about it yesterday, and I know it had something to do with white people owning shit at the cost of, oh, maybe it's the fucking natives shit. It's the taking of the land from the natives. Maybe. I might be wrong.
That had something to do with it too. And everything was supposed to belong to America.
So this is all shit I Googled because over the course of reviewing this album, okay? And then landlords and power whores. That's an interesting line, right? Especially with, man, in our neighborhood alone, the average rent price has gone up about $400 Canadian, which is about $300 to you folks probably.
If you're not Canadian.
Yeah, in the USA, I figure, because 70% of them are fucking from the States.
Rock on.
And so, like, oh, and then to you guys in Germany and Australia, y'all are fucking awesome too. And I think we have a couple of people from England.
In Australia, we're not listening to the Flat Earthers. We know you exist.
Yeah, buddy.
So we're with you.
That's true. Anyway, sorry we got so sidetracked there. But yeah, so they're just kind of like, all my people, they took turns, dispute the suits, I ignite them and watch them. Yeah, he's using his lyrics to go after these fuckers. He's basically decided to let you know in track 1 that his music is going to take out the fucking status quo and let's call it raising public consciousness and awareness by being doper than everybody. And that's what's really cool about it, is it's so hip-hop at its core. It's so metal at its core. It's almost like pure. Is a good
Rage Against the Machine, man.
Anyway, with the thoughts from a militant mind, hard line after hard line after hard line, and that's just him. He's like, this is my mission statement. I have a militant mind, and you're gonna get hard lines. And I like how Zach is able to just convey these ideas so succinctly. You know, I don't know. There's not much more to comment on lyrically. That's what the track is. I give it a 4.25 over the chorus and stuff. But keep in mind, this is the first song I rated, and maybe I would feel like it's stronger, but I don't know. It goes on from here, and it gets better in my ratings. I'm
that's
just
just
gonna put it
killing
out
the
there.
name.
Fuck, I'm wrong.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
So I didn't know this was really about cops and shit until like a few years ago, and I feel kind of dumb. I also got half the lyrics wrong my whole like life and shit. So
There's like 3 lyrics in this song.
I know. But I find that there's this phenomenon I was really guilty to when I was younger, where I would hear what I thought were the lyrics, and they became cemented in my mind as the lyrics. And then as I got older and started checking lyrics more often, I was wrong about so many tracks, including this one.
I mean, this is one of 2 songs on this record that I have performed live with a band multiple times.
I have not, but I would love to. It is one of my dreams now to perform Rage Against the Machine songs.
So much fun because it's just so like, and especially this song, right? Because the other tracks he's going heavy on the hip hop and on the rapping,
That's
and
the
this
part
song
that
is just
looks,
like.
To be fair, as a rapper, that is more exciting than Killing in the Name. But
the
Killing
thing
in
about
the Name
this-
is such a different kind of exciting.
That's it. The thing about this song
it's
is
the
the
end,
simplicity, right? It's the energy.
It's
yes,
the way,
the end.
No.
but-
It's the way because it really manifests there. It's the way how he can repeat himself and manage to make every line communicate volumes just on how he delivers it.
Yeah, and it's not. And again, you have to give it to the rest of the band too, right? Because even just in the second verse, where there's that little deviation, like where they go up the pentatonic scale instead of just doing like,
Yeah, that stuff.
it's so good. And then to have that little breakdown is like, now you do what they told. Again, just playing the octave, right? Just super funky rhythm, super swung, super funky, like all the drum lines in the pocket, everything fucking grooving, fucking moving along, and then it's like, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fucking chaos, just 16th notes on the snare, just the octave being rocked. That entire end part that
bassist
got
is
cut
really
out on
good,
every
too.
radio. Yeah, the bassist is amazing. The drummer is amazing. Again, you're talking about like this is a drummer that played with Black Sabbath. This is a bassist who's played with some like fucking Tim Comerford is amazing. Tom Morello is amazing. This whole band is so good. I even love Audio Slave. Fuck you if you don't. They're good. I'm just kidding. You're cool.
I have no opinion on them.
Fucking great.
How do you feel about Prophets of Rage? I would love to know, because they have a new album coming. So I just want to know what y'all think. Anyway, let's go back to this.
Fucking love this song, man. But yeah, that whole end part that gets cut on every single radio edit version of this song because
They just cut the whole fuck
they
you,
They just
whatever.
cut it. They cut it all. It does the whole dun 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 dun, and then it goes dun 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 dun, and the whole thing is cut.
That's sad.
It's really sad
Because that is possibly one of my favorite things in life.
because it's a huge explosion of just rage, right? Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. And in high school, right, this was our anthem. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
For him, it was high school. For me, it's most of my life.
But like when I heard this, right? Like,
No, I mean, I heard this when I was like 18.
okay,
maybe.
fair enough. I heard this in the 7th grade.
Oh,
right?
I wasn't allowed to listen to music with swearing.
Doesn't matter whether I was allowed or not. This got played for me, and that was it.
Because you're a little younger, so internet was starting to...
Yeah, this was Napster days. This was LimeWire days, and Rage Against the Machine was very high on the list because this was some next level heavy shit, right? Like you heard Linkin Park, and it was like, all right, this is cool. You hear Rage Against the Machine, and you're like, God damn, this is some serious shit.
But it's more like just everything about this song packs a punch, man. I mean, it's not... Even without the fuck you part at the end, this song is... And for the record, that is the best motherfucker ever screamed on any song in history. Okay? I'm throwing it down. There is nobody in any genre of music who has a better motherfucker than Zach De La Rocha on this song.
Corey Taylor on a lot of Iowa.
I don't know,
is
man.
equal.
But I don't know.
People equal shit, man. Like, motherfucker.
No, it's not on this one. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to give it to Zach here. That's just me. But Zach has one of those
Come on down.
voices.
I see the idiot right here. Too fucked to beg and not afraid to care. What's the matter with Calamity anyway? Right, get the fuck out of my face.
like,
anyway,
don't get me
Slipknot, huge fan. You know it. But like,
I'm not going to debate the talent there, but it's not the same.
and again, this chorus, right? Not really a chorus. Killing in the name of.
In fact,
the same
it's
kind
like
of thing.
it just leaves it. But the thing is, what about this one is the other one was a little more like trying to be a chorus in a sense. I felt it was structured like a chorus. It was whatever, and
But so is this one. It's in that spot, right? It's
But-
between the two verses.
But what this does is he's just like killing in the name of, and then he just leaves it open and just kind of lets it wander for a
Yeah.
second. And the power of that versus the closed feeling, I don't know. There's just something about it that I feel like is so poetic.
Fair enough.
And it really
is-
adds value because it's not just about police brutality. It's that line is saying, justify your murder.
Right.
Please,
Those
go
who
ahead.
died are justified for wearing the badge they are chosen whites.
And then,
right?
like, in this case, he gets more specific there. But just the idea of killing...
But-
But just that one line... That's all I'm trying to say is that one line can be applied to literally anything.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of the song, it's a little more...
But it's still really vague, right? Because those who died are justified for wearing the badge they were chosen whites. You justify those that
Hold on,
died.
it's-
Those who died where?
no,
when?
but it's those
What
who died are
badge?
justified for wearing the badge. I'm sorry, but the badge is...
Army, military, cops, Mounties.
I hear cops, man.
You hear cops.
I hear anybody
But
with like a badge.
Some of
like
those
an
that work
authority-
forces, any forces, right? Military, fire department, any government force, right?
okay, I'll
Some
give
of
that
those that
to
work
you.
forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that are the good guys in the day are the same that burn crosses at night, right? Obviously, it's specifically calling out white people, obviously, but it's
I'll have
not
to hand that
specifically
to you.
calling out the police. It's calling out racism in general and the hypocrisy of it that was so prevalent.
I definitely also think it's calling out the fact that America is a country that is historically built on war and conquest, and that,
Racism
but
and
specific.
degradation of
None of that I'm disputing.
Yeah.
But I think specific, because I feel like Zach has songs that are more themed on that kind of subject matter. And I feel like this album is a little focused on each track. And I'm not saying you're wrong. In fact, I think you're right about everything you said right before there, because that shit I didn't really consider. And Eerie really is that granular, which makes it even fucking better.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like he's trying to call attention to the fact that all America is a bunch of militaristic killing. And like that, and all the rest of that is all part of it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That's where like the whites and the clothes in white, there's that clear indication to the Klan, and I'm not disputing that at all. But I love it. It's really amazing. And then like, and the part when he bounces in that now you're under control, and now you do what they told you. Now you're
Yeah.
under control. I know when he gets to that specific part, I just lose my shit every time. It's just like it's just so funky. It's just so good,
Funky.
and he can do it live, and he can hold that shit down, and the saddest thing is that I might never get to see this song played live with like a vocalist that isn't Chuck T and Be Real.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It never happened.
5 on 5. Like it's just.
Oh yeah, 5 on 5. Like
There's-
it's not a question.
I mean, like this song is beyond timeless. It is. This
It's
is when
still so relevant, which is so sad.
like I'm on a quest to find what I'm calling perfect and flawless songs. I have very few on this list so far. Like flawless beyond like empirically.
Sorry,
like,
guys.
It's cool. Like as an example, for some reason everybody seems to love Seal's "Kiss from a Rose," and it's like empirically incredibly awesome.
But that's from
It's-
the
it's-
most tender of the Batmans.
I know, but still, the
As
song
Jack Black
itself,
put it.
if you like play it, it's amazing. And I'm not. It really is. And then "Killing in the Name," I like it way more, but it's just as equally amazing and like universally awesome. Like I can't find people who. I mean, if you don't like the Seal song, I get it. You're the person.
Straight up, Kiss from a Rose gives me a pedophile vibe that I've never been able to shake.
I don't know
It's,
why.
now that your rose is in bloom.
Oh.
Like, oh man, no.
I've just-
so gross.
I just never
man.
considered that. Sure. I mean, I'm gonna hope that that's not what Seal
I've always
wanted.
hoped, but at the same time, there's always that little bit of doubt in the back of my mind. And
I'm
it's
gonna
like,
stay
every
a
time I hear
believer.
that song, it's like, oh man.
I'm staying a believer. I'm just staying it. But stop. I'm just saying
And
from
I
a
saw
song.
her face.
Anyway,
Seal likes children. Anyway,
okay, we're gonna not use. Anyway,
what's next?
this is not the representations of me and my brand. Take the power back.
Take the power back.
Stories for years and years and years. I'm inferior, who's inferior? Yeah, you need to
That funk is fucking real, dude.
So real.
Like, it's so good.
So funky.
This was not the most qualitative analysis, but fuck, you hear the bass come in, and it's like, it just like, if you listen to a lot of pop music, especially, you probably never hear anything that sounds like that from a bass
Well,
guitar. From a
There's some fucking
bassist.
juicy licks in Uptown Funk. People don't give Mark Ronson enough credit. But
But
like-
in general, the bulk
Yeah,
of bass lines
I mean-
don't come in like that, right? In pop music, that's what I was saying. I
it
mean,
depends. I mean, this is like a lot of what they do is it's not just a callback to like 70s metal bands like Sabbath and Zeppelin, but it's also like Parliament and like fucking
any of these bands.
Sly and
You might
Sly and the
know.
Family Stone and like all these 70s funk bands, right? Like
I don't
they were just
listen to
being
them.
funky. Like that's what this is, but like heavier and fucking louder and more in your face. Like it's very much in that vein.
So like I appreciate all that, but like post 1990, there's not a lot of this in the mainstream.
Fair enough.
And so for a lot of people, and including myself, I don't get exposed to enough awesome bassing like this in a genre of music that I like, because I know it exists in other genres like jazz.
Funk, for example.
But like in the more pure sense, I'm not as into it. And it's just stylistically and shit. But this is just everything I could want out of what funk music I suppose could be. It's fucking really awesome. And I prefer this than the like Dr. Dre versions of it. Either way, yeah, how do you feel about this track?
I like it. I mean, I like it a little less because it's not like as timeless for me, right? But it's not a track that I'm gonna put on and be mad at. Like, it works like a rage song. Like it funks out. It's heavy where it needs to be heavy. There's the breakdown that boom 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 where it comes down like that. Tom Morello just with his fucking. If you've never seen Tom Morello play any song, just do yourself a favor. Just Google Rage Against the Machine live, any era, doesn't matter. Watch what Tom Morello does with his guitar. Watch him take out his fucking guitar wire and play a solo with it and then put it back in. And your understanding of what can be done with a guitar will change. That's just a given. And this song is a perfect example of that. I'm going to give it a 4.8 on 5. It's fucking great.
My mark's a little lower. It's a 4.5. Still better than that 4.25. I told ya. It comes in really strong. There's a couple of songs I feel are similar on this album. This is one of the ones that I feel blends in a little bit
That's
more
fair.
than stands out. And that's why it's a 4.5. Because I feel like the style is fucking fantastic. And it comes in, and it's experimental and almost progressive in the sense that it isn't so structured. They don't really care that much about song structure so much as they care about moving the piece of art that they're creating
Right.
forward along the narrative that they wanted to run.
It's the energy.
And this one is about education, if I'm not mistaken, in general. Just like general consciousness education, but almost literally the education that people get. Like, so I also like when he's like, bring that shit in, it just fucking kicks in, you know, like he just, and then, yeah, the movements in motion with mass militant poetry. Now check this shit out. And he's just letting you know, again, we're starting this movement. We're making this happen. We are the revolutionaries. They're going to fuck up the
That's
consciousness.
militant twice in 3 songs, Zach.
I don't hate it. Did he say it in Killing in the Name?
Militant mind.
In
Hard
Killing in the
line,
Name?
hard line after hard line.
But no, I know that. But in Killing in the Name,
No, that's why I said twice in 3 songs.
oh, okay, my bad.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, that's from Killing in the Name. That's the best.
But
But yeah, then in the right light, study becomes insight. But the system that dissed us teaches us how to read and write. So here it's like, if you take the time to independently study the information and get the facts, it's very enlightening. But unfortunately, the people who teach you how to learn aren't teaching you that. So the education system are, allow me to quote Zach, so-called facts are fraud. So basically, you're learning the bullshit that the propaganda machine teaches. Like, I would love to see what an American textbook says about the Battle of 1812. I just want to know. I just want to know. Because I know what we know. We burned down the White House, and I love bringing this up whenever I can. But, like, I want to know what they know.
to be fair, like, I don't know about your history textbook. My history textbook in English history in Quebec had about 1 page on the Native Americans. And it was like, we traded some fur with them.
Yeah.
And then they were gone for some reason.
It made it. No, we found out a little bit about disease blankets and shit. We did not learn about how, like,
I learned about that from South Park.
How, like, let's say the Canadian Huskies were systematically fucking butchered so that pretty much nearly extinct, so that the Quebec government could separate the residents of Nunavut, the savages, and keep them from Montreal. Hashtag hometown racism. And then we stole a bunch of Native kids and put them in schools and shit. And, like, I went to high school with a couple of people that were, like, these kids that were stolen and given to white families that were, like, adopted. So as you can see, I'm alive. This wasn't that fucking long ago, all things considered. But Canada's a lovely place that has no evil. I don't know. Canada has
So for you Americans watching and you think you want to come here because you're just going to get away from whatever.
Yeah.
Now we got our shit too.
Go look at Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto's fucked right now, man.
It's not in a great place.
Brother of a crackhead in power.
I don't know about that part. I meant the literal mass shootings on repeat.
I meant Doug Ford, brother of Rob Ford.
I don't know enough about it
Who's
to
their
comment.
fucking mayor.
Y'all know who that is because Rob did the tour. Anyway, so they basically want us to pledge and bow down to their god, the culture, you know, money, blah, blah, blah. That's the American way. I kind of like how he's like pointing out how over time ignorance has taken over the populace. So his response, bam, here's the plan. He says bam. Bam, here's the plan. That's amazing to me. Motherfuck Uncle Sam. Step back. I know who I am. Dr. Seussianess aside, the way he delivers it is just fucking proper. Okay? It's awesome. And I love how blunt he is. Like, so many people try to, like, safely have political records, and you'll read, like, commentary, and this is their political record. But they're not saying motherfuck Uncle Sam, okay? And now the standard has been set. So if you really want to make a political record, at least be willing to call out the government, be a little more direct. So all the guys who do say fuck Trump, I suppose you're exempt from that criticism. Raise up your ear. I'll drop the style and clear. If the beats and the lyrics, I've heard a lot of rappers and shit literally say fuck Trump, just for context on that sentence.
Yeah. No kidding.
The rage is relentless, not just Eminem. The rage is relentless. We need a movement with a quickness.
Fucking G-Eazy does it. Like,
I don't listen. Anyway,
it's like fuck Trump. What the fuck we vote for?
Yeah.
Great song. I like G-Eazy. I don't know if you guys have heard that from the last couple of videos where I've been like, I like G-Eazy, but he's a good rapper.
Yeah. So this track basically kind of talks then about it kind of points out how we need to take the intellectual education system, like take the power back, like get our minds in place so that we can be powerful. The present curriculum, I'll put my fist in them. That's what Zach feels about school. Eurocentrism, every last one of them. See right through them, red, white, and blue disguise. With lecture, I puncture the structure of lies. And it kind of goes on, and I'm not going to run through all the lines because it's basically elaborating more on these themes of how everything is fucked. We need to wake up, and we need to understand the systematic white Eurocentrism of our culture.
Which is a lot of what this record is.
which is a very relevant topic, especially.
Still very relevant.
I mean, but the thing is like the mental awareness of these issues in 92 does not exist compared to today. And there is a fly flying around this whole podcast. We're just dealing with it.
It's a flying fly.
So 4.5 on 5 for me. It's really awesome for the most part, but like, it's not quite this song blew my fucking mind that a couple others did.
Song 4, which is
It is definitely Settle for Nothing.
Settle for Nothing.
In this moment, I really realized how much I love this band.
Yeah.
I mean, this is another 5, just spoiler alert. This is how you do the big, heavy, loud, screamy hook. Throwing it out there. A little bit more enjoyable to me than like the first one.
Which is interesting because like this is the dirtiest one yet, right? Like
so good.
There's the hook on Bombtrack is fucking clean compared to this.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Like, that fucking genocide. Like
it's so good because like in light of the context of the song and everything.
Yeah.
It's just this experience, right?
There's another song that does a very similar thing, not in terms of subject matter, but around the same time. Actually,
You don't remember?
I don't. No, I know the name of the song. It's "This Love" by Pantera.
Okay.
Little later than this, I think.
Fair enough.
But it does a very similar thing where the verses are very quiet, very atonal, and then the chorus is just this huge fucking like.
Well, it's just that okay. Like this song is so interesting. So it's about the quick version is kind of commenting on gang culture and the obsession of almost like ending up in jail, and then it's almost telling the perspective of somebody who's living that life,
Right.
and commenting on it in a satirical way. Like a jail cell is freedom from the pain in my home, halted, passed on. Hatred passed on. So a jail cell is freedom. Like the idea that even going to jail is to escape this cycle of hatred,
Yeah.
and that even in your mind that could be a positive thing, you know?
And the way he delivers it too, like you really get like this is where you realize that Zach isn't just a rapper, like he's a poet.
Right.
Like,
and then like a world of violent rage, but it's one I can recognize, and you're like, that is a very interesting and apt way to describe maybe the dire situations.
this is where he says, "Having never seen the color of my father's eyes."
That is literally the next
That's
lyric.
the next line, yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's another way of describing like a hood growing up fatherless, the awful cycle of shit that's going on. Yes, I dwell in hell, but it's a hell that I can grip. I tried to grip my family, but I slipped. And that's just powerful to me. Like, it's like, I understand this the darker side of life. I tried to do the right thing and shit, but I fucked up. You know, like I tried, I slipped, whoops. This is just kind of how things are. And to escape from the pain in an existence mundane, I got a 9. So it's to escape from the boringness, the regular of the life. And this line is amazing. I got a 9, his gun, a sign, his gang, a set, his specific club, and now I got a name. Because he fucking has done something and more notorieties or whatever. I might not remember what the name line is, but he's kind of established himself. He's got his name.
Yeah.
He's either whether he's gone to jail, he's got profile, whatever. That's happened. And then he just starts screaming, read the writing on the wall. That is supposed to be implying like the prisoners who like scratched into like the jail wall the various messages over the years, and no one's here to catch me when I fall, caught between my culture and the system.
But writing on the wall is also like that's a biblical thing, right?
Yeah,
Where it was
like a revelation.
who was it who saw the writing on the wall?
I cannot remember.
King Solomon. I could be
Maybe.
wrong. Am I
Maybe.
right? Am I wrong?
I feel like it's that era of like Bible stories, like the
Yeah.
Corinthians-ish. Anyway, but like
writings on the wall.
the idea there is that like you get like you finally come to realize what's going on or to see some things. But I feel like Zach's big on the double entendres, but like,
Yeah.
so he's taking on the literal dark tones of the jail, and then to see almost like you almost get the feeling that you're in this prison and what you see written on the wall is no one's here to catch me when I fall, caught between my culture and the system, which is a really great way to maybe describe how many people feel. And
Yeah.
I never really have heard it put so brevity-like before, you know? And then he screams out suicide and then genocide in the next line. And he's kind of pointing out that if you end up in like this gang situation, you may as well have committed suicide for what you've done to your life. And this is his commentary on gang culture in that regard. So it is kind of saying, yeah, if you're like this, you're basically committing suicide and you're basically helping perpetuate the genocide of a culture. You know, read the writing on the wall, whatever. They knock the smile off my face. Or sorry, if ignorance is bliss, then knock the smile off my face, you know? Like, I don't want to stay ignorant and happy. I want that pain and that unhappiness of knowing, you know?
Yeah.
And I can relate to that because I'd rather be unhappy and aware than be like happy and just lost like I used to be, you know? If we don't
deep.
And then if we don't take action now, we settle for nothing later, settle for nothing now, and we'll settle for nothing later. And then basically saying, like, if we don't fight, if we don't try to change the status quo, well, look at the world we live in. Go on Twitter and stuff, watch the conversations, and all of a sudden you see that maybe Zach had a point. 5 on 5. This shit is beyond phenomenal to me. The evolution of the song, the explosions of passion and shit, it's beautiful.
I want to say I gave it a 5 on 5 too.
Awesome. Now we don't get bullets in the head.
Wait, play it the King Jack, then rewind the tape and then play it.
This.
I like the song again. See, this one specific niche is like media fucking fooling you. And basically, if you watch the news and like just take into consideration a Fox News and an MSNBC and last election cycle, everything that we're talking about, it kind of like the people I know who actually watch the news, like sit there and watch these things, it's almost like they have a bullet in the head. So I kind of get where the hell he's coming from, man. Or if they, I don't want to say deserve it, but
I mean,
but like some people really preach some shit with really bad information is I guess what I'm trying to convey.
yeah, research is at an all-time low right now. But like,
This, yeah, all right.
it's a great song. The one thing, the one thing about this song in terms of the album is like I know what's coming next.
Okay.
So that hurts a little bit because objectively this is a great song. Again, it's back to like down from that fucking gnarly, heavy, fucking disgusting griminess of the last song. We're back to that like funky ass groove. Oh, victim of the in-house drive-by. Boom, no. They say jump, we say how high. Like that's a great fucking hook, right? And again, like the rhythm section shows off just all the chops. Zach is fucking on point on this track. But I know what's coming next. So
I like
that's how
this
I
one
feel.
more.
Then the next one?
Yeah, this song's fucking ill.
Oh,
This
man.
current track, this man, like the rapping is fucking stellar.
It
man.
is.
And I like the way he uses the word cold. Like this time the bullet cold rocked ya. Like I don't know if that was like a fad to use the word cold like that back in the day, but I like it.
I think, damn, that was cold. You know?
No, but like that bullet cold rocked ya. Like the way he's using it as a adjective verb, it's kind of cool. A yellow ribbon instead of a swastika, nothing about your propaganda. So here he's kind of pointing out that our yellow ribbons for peace and all this other bullshit. At the end of the day, it's no different than a swastika because it's promoting this system and blah, blah, blah. And the media is kind of selling you propagandist lies.
Or fuck the system.
That's a good song. So follow rules when the set commands you. And I love how he's kind of comparing the government to a gang. For those who don't know, a set is like a particular branch of a gang.
Gotcha.
And so I really, really enjoy that line. Fools follow rules when the set commands you. Said it was blue when your blood was red. And there he's playing off of the Crips and Bloods, but kind of, you know, also, I believe, playing into... well, I think he was just kind of trying to make a good line there.
Like Blue Bloods.
Yeah, but your blood was red. Said it was blue, but your blood was red. You know, and then... I don't actually fully get that line. But it's pretty cool because it follows up with the gang pun. And then that's how you got a bullet blasted through your head. Oh, I get it. He's saying that at the end of the day, you were pulling on the wrong colors. And so you fucking got killed. I should have just read the next line. Foolish Holden. So yeah, that's you got a bullet through your head, blasted through your head, blasted through your head. When you say something 3 times, in Hebrew, it adds a serious amount of power and effectiveness to the word. And I noticed that lyrically, many people will use that thrice over way to really draw emphasis.
And there's a lot of that on this record in particular.
So he gives a shout out to the living dead who stood and watched as the feds called centralized. And that's interesting. He just calls America a bunch of fucking zombies as they watched the entire world centralized, privatized. The NSA kind of comes into being, spies on us all through our phones. CSIS currently uses their technology to crack our phones if they need to and spy on us. And they're cool. They're cool telling us. We can't do much. CSIS,
The technology is there.
is
They
the
have it.
Canadian CIA. Just so you guys know.
The
Anyway.
American ones do it too.
Yeah, cellular phone sounding like a death tone. See, it was relevant because the next line was about cell phones. Corporations called turn you to stone before you realize they look. Facebook in modern world. There's a good example of what he's trying to talk about. Just how data use and all of that. Look up GDPR. It's fucking interesting if you don't know what that is. They load the clip in Omnicolor, said they packed a 9, they fire it at prime time, and so here he's using the image of primetime bullshit television to brainwash you, and he's describing it as a gun. As we'll find out later on, he feels that words and messaging is really the power of steel. Wink, wink. Yeah.
I get it.
And then just victims of the in-house drive-by, which is interesting because it's basically as destructive as a drive-by through your television set, so it's inside. And
They
then
say jump, we say how
yeah.
high.
And then I love it. Then check it out. They load the clip and he goes back and he does repeat himself a bit, which is maybe like my one kind of criticism of this album is I kind of wish sometimes the second verse might be a little more unique content, but it's a kind of mild criticism.
I mean, it varies from song to song, right? Like sometimes it's very different, like wildly different, and sometimes it's
On
like
this
it follows
album-
very structurally. Like
And usually, like I find on this album, what happens a lot is half the verse gets repeated and then half of it's unique content.
Yeah.
Or it'll be rearranged with a couple of new lines. And again, it's not meant to like criticize it. I just have that preference. I think the way Zach delivers these lines blows way past that criticism and makes it totally fine for him to get away with this. Whereas 95% of people could not pull this off even a little bit. Like in this kind, no escape from the mass mind rape. Play it again, Jack, and then rewind the tape, and then play it again and again and again until your mind is locked in, believe in everything they tell you. And then in the verse, they say jump, they say how high. Like, and I love it. I really like this. And then, you know, you're standing in line, believing the lies, bow down to the flag, you got a bullet in your head. And then he just starts going, bullet in your head. And then when he screams, bullet in your head, it's just perfect, man. And he's so mad, and he employs the same tactics that he has described the media uses to give the propaganda to use his punchlines on you. So he tells you how he's going to brainwash you and then proceeds to tell you about the bullet in your head and punches it in. 5 on 5. Brilliant. Thematically, the fourth track, the fourth unique subject matter, they're all long songs too, like 5-ish, 6-ish.
Yeah,
like
these
the
aren't short
shortest
songs.
song is like 4 minutes. So given the number of tracks on this project, the length is proper.
it's a 4.5 for me.
Because I know what the next one is.
What?
Because I know what the next one is.
Because I know what the next one is.
And do you know what the next one's called?
Know your enemy.
Do you know your enemy?
You got to know, you got to know. And when I say go, go, go.
All right, Syd.
This is the best. I know there are a lot of songs, as you evidenced about 30 seconds ago, called "Know Your Enemy."
Do
This
you
is
know
the
your
best
enemy?
one. That's a good song, but
But
this
this
is
is
the
better.
best one. This is the best one. And again, right, like Tom Morello's guitar acrobatics right away, super simple, and like super funky, right? But like just so uniquely Tom Morello, like you know that's him playing right away. And then it takes a switch right away where and still like very thrashy, but still super funky when the bass comes in with a fucking shout out to Maynard James Keenan for an
What the
awesome
fuck did he sing?
fucking what?
Is he singing? What is he doing on it? It's featuring him, but I couldn't figure out what the fuck he did. I don't know why you're staring at me.
Can we
like
pause this?
No.
So you can hear him?
that. Well, just tell me what part
He
he
sang.
Which part?
In the middle.
Oh,
I got no something. I got no patience for now.
okay.
And then he gives a big scream, and it's all Maynardy. My only complaint is that he doesn't do more.
Like, here's the thing. I don't know Maynard's voice that well. I did my first Tool album experience like a few weeks ago, and then I just don't know him that well.
Okay, so Zach De La Rocha doesn't sing. Maynard sings.
So
So
Zach,
the only singing on this record is on this track, and it comes from Maynard.
oh, guess.
That's how you know it's Maynard.
that's fair. I didn't know that really previous to that, and I kind of saw it after, and maybe Zach sang a bit. I don't fucking know. Prior to this conversation. Now I know, so I know my enemy. I guess that's not my enemy, but whatever.
Whoever told you that is your enemy. Great fucking line. Also, what I love so much about this track is just the outro where Zach just repeats, all of which are American dreams. All of
but
which
you gotta
are
have the
American
context
dreams.
there, you know?
All of which, but
It's because it's yes, I know my enemies. They're the teachers who taught me to fight me, compromise, conformity, assimilation, submission, ignorance, hypocrisy, brutality, the elite, all of which are American dreams.
all of which are American dreams. And the music is still going, and then the music stops, and he's still going. All of which are American dreams.
And he just
all
gets
of which are
even
American dreams.
more.
Like, he needs you to understand this. All of these are American dreams. This is what the American dream is built on. These fundamental philosophies.
And
Like,
bad ones. Like
yeah.
all these terrible things.
Anyway, 5 on 5 for me. I fucking love this track.
It's 4.75 on 5 for me. It is
4.75 on 5.
pretty fucking awesome, and I like it pretty fucking a lot. But like, there's a couple ones I like a little bit more. That's what I'm trying to say with that. It's hard. It's hard when you know that last one was a 5. I don't like it as much as the one prior to this. Sorry, it's the opposite of Syd's feelings.
Fucking Maynard, man.
But I just like this one was a little bit more on the cornier side. That's what really hit me. This is the corniest of Zach's rhyming, right? Like, no, guys, don't get mad at me, please. This is my opinion. Born with insight and a raised fist, a witness to the slit wrist. It's provocative and stuff, but relatively speaking, we're moving a little into the more what we would later come to call edgy and shit, you know? As we move into 92, still in a room without a view, you got to know. Then when I say go, 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 sorry, I fucking moved my damn note file. Say go, 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 amp up and amplify, defy. I'm a brother with a furious mind. Action must be taken. We don't need the key. We'll break in. Something must be done about vengeance, a badge and gun. Because I'll rip the mic, rip the stage, rip the system. I was born to rage against them. Fist in your face. I got it.
Roll credits.
Fist in your face, and I'll drop the style clear. I feel like a little bit less quality lyrics than all the other rappy stuff that I've heard. And that's just my thoughts on it. I understand what this track is saying. He is born as a passionate rebel, ready to fucking... Yes, your line is good. The line that you like is fucking good.
Whoever told you that is your enemy.
And it's pretty good. But the part where he goes with the D, the E, the F, the I, the A, the N, I'm not as big into that line where he spells out defiance. Mind of a revolutionary, so clear the lane. The finger to the land of the chains. I like that. What? The land of the free. Whoever told you that is your enemy. Now something must be done about vengeance, a badge, and a gun. And he goes a little bit into the repeating stuff here, but I wasn't feeling the rhymes as powerfully here. I feel like it's a cross between trying to floss, I feel like he was trying to floss too much on this. As he's such a cool, defiant guy, instead of me, and this sounds like
I guess. I mean, for me, he's
I'm
just
trying to
the beat,
explain.
right?
Like to me, if it is incredibly passionate and well delivered, and I love the overall feel of this song. I was just trying to describe why I felt that part was slightly more corny than previous tracks.
Fine.
Okay,
That's okay.
and that's to you guys too on the internet. But yeah, overall, that end part,
All of which are American dreams.
it's like the first time you hear it, you don't really catch what he says before, I find. You're more kind of, because that part that comes after kind of just takes over your memory.
Right.
And then when you go back the next time, you're really trying to listen to understand what these American dreams are. It's just pretty fucking good. It's one of the best endings of a song I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Still, I'm okay. I feel like the funkiness, the funky bassy stuff is very similar to the other funky bassy one. Not like completely, but similar enough that it was a little blendy in that regard too. So that's fine. I still fucking like it. It's like disc quality, 4.75, near perfect. Wake up.
Let's go, right? Built up inside of me. Fist in the air and
All right. When you hear the rapping and the intensity on this, tell me it's not like it's just less corny, okay? It's just fucking better.
I'm a little biased on this one
5 on 5.
because this is. Remember, I said there was "Killing in the Name" was one of 2 Rage songs that I performed live with a band. This is the other one.
It's fucking good.
It's a fucking great song. We used to have so much fun killing this song on stage.
Come on.
We played at fucking this club in Montreal called. Fuck, I don't remember what it's called now, but it was a jazz bar.
It was
They
called...
were not ready for us to go on stage and play "Wake Up" by Rage Against the Machine and like scream the fuck out of the end of it. It's fucking fun. Yes.
So what you're trying to say is they tried to discredit you, but they couldn't edit.
The needle I threaded, radically poetic.
Standing
with
with
the
the
fury that they had in '66.
I love
yeah,
that.
fucking the verse in the
That's
song are top
amazing.
notch.
Well, it's just like shouting back to that like protest movements and energy and shit that like he's drawing from the spirit of like actually using his platform for a fucking purpose and shit.
And it's like right before each verse, he gave the power to the have-nots. Then came the shot, right?
Oh yeah,
and
because
then
that's where. Because in that case, like verse 1 is about Martin Luther King Jr. And how he gets taken out when he
Yes.
was trying to do it, and then the second one is
Malcolm
X and
You know,
how
they
they
murdered X and
tried
tried
to
to blame
blame
it on
Islam, and then
he
whatever.
gave the power to the have-nots. Then came the shot,
And it's just
like,
beautiful.
It's and he's still like with poetry in my mind. With
What
poetry,
was the price on his head?
What was the price on his head? And
Such a good line.
There's one part that often goes overlooked where in the middle there's a little calm breakdown and he's talking about how the FBI or the CIA can recognize potential threats and neutralize them, right? And he has to
Do you
hammer
realize?
that home to
No,
you.
but do you realize he's quoting Edgar J. Hoover from an actual memorandum talking about how they were going to systematically destroy the Black Panthers?
Yeah.
Just to add context. So it's not even random. It
But-
is so relevant to this track to add that proof to the pudding.
And what's so spine tingling about it is the language that's used, right? Like they're not saying we're going to kill anyone.
He
we're
may
not
be
gonna
a
take them
brave
out.
contender for his position, but should he abandon his supposed obedience to the white liberal doctrine of non-violence and embrace black nationalism, is the first quote. And then the second quote is, through counterintelligence, it should be possible to pinpoint potential troublemakers and neutralize them. Through counterintelligence, it should be possible to pinpoint potential troublemakers and neutralize
Like
them.
that's so important.
I
And
had
then he
to
just
say it
starts
twice.
screaming, "Wake up!"
And it's like,
"Wake up!" And it's like,
But it's like-
the thrashiest fucking thing is playing underneath, and like, even if you're not getting the specific message or context of the song, like you know that there's something that you're missing, right? Like you feel that there's something that you need to open your eyes to.
but just think when you realize that this is actual FBI doctrines, that the Black
Yeah.
Panthers were, in fact, it's not fake. They were systematically destroyed through undercover fucking informants and trumped up prison charges and all sorts of shit. And that his proof to the pudding was to quote Hoover himself. Like, that's some Sacha Baron Cohen level journalism.
Who is America is a great show.
I haven't yet watched it, but what I've seen of it looks that good.
Expect what you're going to expect, like some of it's fucking gross,
But-
because that's who he is.
but it's from what I understand, he sticks with the gonzo and like the actual interactions with like actual people, because as time's gone on, he moved away from scripted shit into like generalized, just capturing people in their natural state.
Oh, he stopped doing scripted shit a long time ago.
No, but like even take the Borat movie, half that movie was like scripted and half of it was not, even though it looked like it wasn't. Whereas by Bruno, there was one scene that was scripted, and it's the one with
I never saw Bruno.
Anyway, it's with
But-
Harrison Ford.
You think he got into trouble over Borat for people suing him?
He's in for
Wait until the rest of this shit airs.
I
But
can't wait.
so he's already gotten some congressmen to resign.
Yeah.
He's already gotten this little town, Kingman in Arizona, to like take a serious look at how racist their fucking population is. Anyway, enough about the show. You should watch it. You
Can't
should
even
check it out. It's great.
Yeah.
But it's fucking disgusting.
But
and
I feel
gross
like
because he's
that's
a
the
gross
level
person,
of
but,
like what he's doing here. Because if you look at the attitude of the FBI at that time, it's just that. It's disgusting and it's fucking gross.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This track's a 5. This
No,
is
yeah,
this
this
is like
track's a
a
5. Hell yeah.
This is a real protest anthem. This is the type of shit where like
And a little tribute to Led Zeppelin right in the beginning.
yeah, it does
If you
feel
catch it.
so much like Kashmir.
It is the same riff. It's the same riff.
Fair enough. And Fistful of Steel got a fistful of steel, not a gun, a mic.
Yeah, Mad Boy grips the microphone with a fist full of steel.
This track, just look thematically, it's so interesting. So if I have to like give it in a sentence, if you are willing to stand complicit and be silent, you may as well fucking kill yourself. Hell, Zach will help you do it. And this is something I feel very much in agreement with Zach. Oddly enough, I don't actually think you should kill yourself, and I'm not trying to assist you with that. But my point is more the complicitness. I feel like I look around, and there's a lot of people who they want to fight the popular causes. So right now it's really cool to talk about like women's rights. But like you want to bring up a non-popular of equal value cause, native rights. It's just not going to get the same kind of buzz, and people will be a lot more complicit, and people will be a lot more willing to. And I feel like Zach is right. Like we are very willing to stay silent on so many issues.
Yeah.
For the sake of maybe our salaries and paychecks and shit, which I can't judge anyone.
And
especially people with kids. I especially don't judge those people.
At the end of the day, it's reputation, right? Like,
yeah.
It's how you're perceived. So when an issue is hot button and it's buzzworthy, then yeah, it's easy to jump on that bandwagon and talk about it and discuss it and debate it. But when something is something that not that many people know a lot about, that they're not really willing to go and do the research about because they don't have the time or they don't have the money or they don't have the what have you, then it's just not something that's going to be addressed, even if it is something that's very important.
Yeah. And silence. Something about silence makes me sick. What a great way to start.
That's a really good opening line.
Because if you think about it, man, and I just want to like transcend this a bit. In Montreal, our buses have gone through this like social silencing effort. We are encouraged to not play music on speakers, which I'm against. I think people should be able to play whatever shitty music they want on their speaker, wherever the fuck they are. I understand everyone else is annoyed by that, but I call those people old in my mind. Like I don't want to live in the world where music is closed off and we're not allowed to play it in public. Okay.
So would you want 10 different people playing 10 different songs in a crowded bus on speakers?
If the
trying
choice
to outdo
is
each other?
If that were to happen every now and again at the cost of never having it happen at all, yeah, I'd take it. Personally,
I feel like it wouldn't just happen every now and again.
I just think that like every now and again when I do hear that kid playing the song, sometimes I'm like, damn, that's a fucking good song. I want to know what it is. You know, it's not always this awful fucking experience that everyone paints it out to be like these asshole kids are doing it. Anyway, but in the morning,
Sometimes it's bad.
sometimes it is. But like I noticed that at least in public, we are constantly pushed towards silence, being quiet, polite, respectful. Don't shake the status quo. And it kind of makes me sick. And I look at the way that stuff like don't play your phone in public. But like in the 80s, you could walk down the street with a boombox. They weren't fucking worried about that shit. You know, they just had their music. They bumped it. You know, it was nice, in my opinion. I picture it being a nice environment.
I wish I grew up in a time when this was the move.
Yeah, like
You
it
know what I
sounds
mean?
fucking cool. Some speak the sounds, or sorry, because silence can be violent, sort of like a slit wrist. And if the vibe was suicide, then you would push the button. But if you're bowing down, then let me do the cutting. And I feel like he's trying to say that through your silence, you're basically fucking killing yourself indirectly or whatever, or it's just as dangerous as this because you're letting all of this shit happen, you know? Maybe I'm misinterpreting it a little bit. That's fine. I've heard the album for like a week. Some speak the sounds but speak in silent voices. I know a lot of those people. They're willing to talk about that stuff in private, over Skype, over a private message, not really willing to say it out loud. And like radio is silent, though it fills the air with noises, which is amazing because the radio pollutes the air with all this nonsense but doesn't actually say anything. And he's trying to contextualize there that this silence is about real issues, not just the noise people make and shit. Its transmissions bring submission as you mold to unreal, and Mad Boy grips the microphone with a fistful of steel. I believe he's trying to convey that his gun is this mic and he's laying it down like this because this is his weapon and he finna fight. That's what he's gonna do. And then it goes on from there and like kind of follows up. The second verse is more about how like, you know, talk and get in the vibe of actually speaking because there's a reason to. And then he gets that cool bridge thing, a 44 full of bullets, face full of pale, eyes full of empty, a stare full of nails, the roulette ball rolls on the wheel, a mind full of fire, and a fist full of steel.
Fucking poetry.
And
Fucking beautiful.
yeah, I feel like it's like you're playing Russian roulette with your life.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I take that.
But the imagery that's evoked, sorry for using douchey words, but like, goddamn, this man.
Yeah, man. Like, and if the vibe was suicide, and then you would push the button, but if you're bowing down, then let me doing the cutting. And he screams that, like, whew. It's just like it's pretty powerful and shocking, but in a way where it's not done for like edge or like whatever. It's not. It's just Zach hates this that much.
Yeah.
And he feels that this is such a toxic problem that if you're gonna participate, like, and I get it.
And you feel it in the music too, right? Like this song is just a tad more aggressive from the get than I think some of the other songs.
I give it a 4.5 on 5.
That's fair.
I
like this song a little more than that. I'm not gonna harp on too much more about it, but I think it deserves a 4.8, and that's where I'm sitting.
All right. I don't know if you had your finger in your mouth or something. That sounded
I'm
weird.
just kind of.
But
yeah. This is a song that's a 4.8 for me.
Understood.
That's all, folks.
It's pretty good. Like, it's just, I feel like there's a couple that I like more, and like we're honestly, it just feels like semantics at this point. This whole album is this nonstop experience of awesome shit. But maybe I just want to hear him screaming words at me like "wake up" or whatever. Anyway.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do a pun there.
No, and then in turn I'll have my Township Rebellion.
Township Rebellion. Why stand on a silent platform? Fight the war.
All
right, this song is another 4.5 on 5 for me.
Whoa, it's a 5.
For you.
It's a 5.
I feel like this one is as good as the previous one we just listened to. Equally as good.
I feel like this song
awesome.
is as good as Wake Up. I'm saying it right now.
So this one is kind of structured interestingly because it kind of feels like this long,
Super
rappy
fucking
verse
loosey-goosey.
with the cowbell.
Super cowbelly.
It's very
But
cowbelly.
I like the way that it comes in with this like dun 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 dun, like it's almost like a Springsteen intro,
And then
like super positive, and then it just super like switches gears and like fucking Tom Morello.
And I
just
love the
sounding
bass
like-
line.
The bass line is fucking great. What's really cool about the verses and the first couple choruses to this song is like it's really stuff that Korn and Deftones and Limp Bizkit were gonna start to be doing. You know what I mean? A couple of years later, but like Rage were already implementing this into the zeitgeist,
That is why I
dropping
believe.
some fucking knowledge.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
It's fucking great. And Tom Morello sounding like a DJ with his fucking guitar, just making the scratches, making the blips, making the screeches. But that's him. That's him playing. You know what I mean? Like no one else can. The man is a fucking genius.
And then Zach's great too.
And Zach's great too.
Because yeah,
And the rest of them are great too.
like
They're all
this one
fucking
just
great.
feels like, for lack of a better term, this feels like the funnest song on the album.
It's super fun.
Like,
but
they
it's
just
also
wanted
super
to-
angry and super
Yeah,
heavy.
but like this is the silliest song,
It's a little silly.
and I'm not trying to say that like, the cowbell as like on purpose.
But
It's-
Cowbell is great. Listen, Don't Fear the Reaper didn't become one of the most famous songs of all time without Cowbell. You know what I mean?
Sure, that doesn't change shit. It's just it's always gonna make me feel like it's a little sillier when I hear the cowbell going through it. Always.
Come on, baby. Don't
But,
Fear the Reaper.
But yeah, rebel, and yell, because our people still dwell in hell, locked in a cell. Yes, the structure is a cell. Mad is the story I tell. How long can we wait? Come on, seeing what's at stake. Action for reaction. If your mind's a somewhat complacent state, get a checkup. This is a stick up, a freedom or your life. Lord, I wish it could be peaceful, but there can be no sequel. Now freedom must be fundamental in Johannesburg or South Central. Anyway, so I like that part because he's going in and pointing out a little bit more of the same shit, wake the fuck up. The system's a little bit corrupt. I'm a little bit of a rebel. But what I really like is how he takes this opportunity to let you know that this is not an isolated problem here. Because, apartheid would have just ended at this point, right? Even
Say that word again.
apartheid?
Apartheid?
Apartheid? I don't know how to say it right.
Only ever seen it written?
I've heard it a bunch. I'm just still saying it wrong, but mostly seen it written. But apartheid ends, and like pretty recent. Like I mean, and then as we know, there's still some fucking beef all the way till 2018, especially with how they handled the stolen land in over there.
Again, a lot of this record is still super relevant.
Absolutely, but if you really like, because there's a great comparison between the stolen land in both countries, South Africa. If you don't know about it, which you probably do, it's a good thing to look into. And then, so you thought you can get away with the hard lines that fill your mind, thoughts, battles fought, and lessons taught. Yes, I'll display the fitness and flip like a gymnast, raise my fist and resist. Asleep, though we must stand in the midst of war.
You were so happy about that.
Yeah, it's so fucking fun. And it's kind of like, I feel like he's explaining his battle plan. He's going to use this fucking excellent rap skill that he's been gifted with, and he's going to fucking use it to wreck some shit lyrically.
Wrecking some shit lyrically.
But, like, in a sense, he's kind of giving you a blueprint on how to effectively, peacefully protest.
Giving you oh, man. The protest that they pulled when they stood on... What festival was it? When they stood on stage just naked for 10 minutes and didn't play.
I don't know what that was, but I will look that up after.
Okay, so Rage Against the Machine pissed a bunch of people off because I don't remember what festival it was. It's going to drive me nuts. It might have been Woodstock. 99. They were going to play,
I'm just gonna Google this
and
while
the
you're talking.
fucking curtain opened, and they were just standing there buck naked with censorship stickers on their mouths. And instead of playing, they just stood there. And that was it. That was their set.
Oh, it was Lollapalooza in 93.
Lollapalooza. There you go.
Yeah, there they are. And they had PMRC written on them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was to protest music
Censorship.
led by Tipper Gore.
Tipper Gore. Al Gore's fucking wife.
Yeah, so, okay.
Al Gore's wife tried to ruin music in the 80s. Remember that.
So yeah, after
And Dee Snider of Twisted Sister was one of the key figures in fighting against that. Remember that too.
who?
Dee Snider, lead singer of Twisted Sister.
Nice.
We're not gonna take it.
So yeah,
No.
basically they stood there for 10 minutes until the crowd got mad at them and they actually pissed off the people. At first
Yep.
they thought it was funny and cool, and they were going
And then
to
they
play.
didn't start playing.
They just stood there and then they got arrested. And that was the story of that at Lollapalooza.
I think that's one of a couple of times that they got arrested.
And yeah, that's pretty fucking amazing. I didn't know that. I'm happy I learned that. That's fucking cool. Still, this one has like another, like I noticed there's some like punchliney parts. Shackle their minds when they're bent on the cross. When ignorance reigns, life is lost.
Boom.
And that's fucking amazing. Like it's just, again, like conform yourself down, and then I mean you guys get the consistent themes of this album. This is just a different version.
All of which are American dreams.
Fair. But I don't know. No, it's a really fair thing, like to say. Like I give this one a 4.5. Like I said, it's really cool and it's really out there. But it also might be that it's a little weird and it might still grow on me the more that I listen to it. Anyway, I don't know if you gave your grade on this.
5. Freedom.
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 Did you forget your name? Did you lose it on the wall playing tic-tac-toe?
Holy crap, man!
What a great closer. 5 on 5.
I mean, I'm gonna say more than that. I don't know if you have more to say.
I mean, look, the thing is, it's a little samey, right? Like, musically.
This one's a little
It's
triumphant, man.
It is very... I love what Rage Against the Machine do on this album. I think musically, I told you this earlier today off camera, this is a nearly flawless record. And this song doesn't change that trend, and I'm giving it a 5. But that opening riff is a little similar to a couple of other riffs that are on the record.
I'm giving it a
Happens.
4.5
Get over
on
it.
5.
Holden is pissed about it. But
I'm not that pissed about it. I think the song's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's all over the place and the coolest. And it feels like 3 songs, completely different songs, just strung together in
one
a
is like super halftime groovy. One is just like fucking wild out nuts
and
wacky.
and then like that triumph riff where
Yeah.
anger is a gift, and then he just explodes into like through anger, like he anyway. And like lyrically, it's pretty interesting. Like I like the life solo. I'm a soloist on a solo list. That's like real eyes, realize, real lies. Get it? That's a Tupac line.
yeah,
But he
true,
kind of
true,
did the
true,
same
true.
solo. I'm a soloist on a
Is
solo.
that Tupac or is that Ice Cube?
I don't know. I thought it was Tupac. I might be wrong. I'll live,
Walking
all
Dog?
live, never on a
Oh,
floppy
that's not-
disk.
That's not Tupac.
No, but all live, never on a floppy disk. And I feel like that's an interesting line. Just in '92, he sees like the danger of this connected world. Like he sees what's coming, and he probably doesn't have a lot of Facebook. I would be
That did not exist.
no, but like in the modern era, like I would be shocked if he was super into social media. I might be wrong. Is
He's
he?
probably not. Being friends with Maynard James Keenan, I assume that the two of them are just fuck social media everywhere all the time.
Yeah, kind of. Inca, bottle of ink, painting of rebellion drawn up by the thoughts I think, the militant poet, and once again, check it. And again, it's just like he's almost like painting you this mural of what's going on in his mind, and he's effectively done that through most of his project. And then he's got one more story to tell us, and apparently, this one's about the natives specifically. Like it's set up like a deck of cards. They sending us to early graves for all the diamonds. They'll use a pair of clubs to beat the spades. That's fucking cool. Like that's just next level awesome. How he uses all the suits of the cards to like fucking follow up how the game is fucking rigged like a rigged deck.
I mean, the man is not pulling punches.
And then they'll use a pair of clubs to beat the spades. Oof, when you really think about this modern world, back then world, Rodney King world, had Rodney King hadn't even happened yet, right? Or was it just about to happen? I don't know. I don't know when this came out versus that date, so it's right around there. With poetry, I paint pictures that hit more like murals that fit. Don't turn away, get in front of it. And then apparently, Brother, Did You Forget Your Name? Did You Lose It on the Wall playing tic-tac-toe? Is commenting on like native folk who kind of conform themselves into Americanized culture, giving up their roots and shit.
Fair.
And this is shit I got off of Genius, and I'm just kind of reciting back to you. So if I'm wrong,
Fucking deal with it.
yeah. Come On doesn't make it 3 in a row. And then Anger is a Gift. Best part of the song. And then the second one, it kind of comes back in with that. Brother, Did You Forget Your Name? Yo, check the diagonal. 3 million gone. Because 3 million natives were fucking killed. Genocide. Environment. The environment exceeding on a level of our consciousness. For example, what does the billboard say? And that's fucking interesting, right? Because it's saying, like, at the end of the day, we're more interested in what's topping Billboard. And I take it, like, musically, like, he's kind of comparing it to that. Come on, play, come and play, forget about the movement. And if you look at what's charting, it's like Blame It on the Alcohol did a lot better than the song Against Rape Culture. Just throwing it out there.
That's what, 2011?
Even earlier. It's probably like 08.
Okay.
But still, that song
Yeah.
that song has always not sat right with me because it's basically saying, oh, whatever I did to you, it doesn't matter. Alcohol. And I know what he was trying to say, but you got to imagine how many people listened to that and maybe took it a little too
What
far.
was he trying to say?
Oh, we can fuck tonight and you don't have to feel bad about it tomorrow, because I don't think he was going rapey with it. I think he was going kind of on the cleaner end of that conversation. But it can be interpreted in modern context as like the
song.
worst fuck. I
It's a
hate
dumb
the
song.
song.
He should feel bad. Who is that?
T-Pain.
God damn it, T-Pain, you're so talented.
He really is.
What the fuck?
Actually, so apparently T-Pain back then wasn't that talented. And when we see him singing now, he was ashamed of the fact that he needed auto-tune and taught himself how to use his voice effectively to a point of perfection. Because he has one of the most gorgeous voices now.
So good.
But like,
Such a good singer.
it's so interesting. And like, I've grown to admire what that man has been able to do. And then you look at the auto-tune, like, it was just so unnecessary. Anyway, that's not rage. So yeah, after the Billboard, it's like it just kind of like it ends and it sounds like they break the fucking studio. Like you just hear like the drums, you hear him knock the drums over, and you hear them start like breaking some shit inside of the fucking studio, and it's probably like the perfect way. Like they're almost saying like even making this album binds us to some shit and we can't even handle it. We got freedom, we need it. We're free of this process or whatever. I fucking dug it, man. 4.5 on 5. Because again, it's a little choppy and a little like maybe if I sat on it more, it would grow on me.
I love it. It's a great fucking closer. It's a 5.
It is a perfect closer for this album because it is the only one that does kind of almost leave you with this uplifting feel at the end of it. Even if the lyrics are kind of on point, that anger is a gift and this explosion of like epiphany in that moment, it's amazing.
I mean, if we're going to talk about the album as a whole,
We can do that now.
like this album transcended music, I think, in a way that not a lot of albums ever have. really like it hit the right spot to be popular on the charts, but it also hit the spot to get people to start thinking and researching and looking at local governments and looking at politicians and really looking at racism in a really serious way that maybe they hadn't quite before. And I don't know what it was that really caught fire, but it started a movement that hasn't really stopped to this day. Like, it's not like Rage Against the Machine are any less relevant today.
No, they
and they stopped making music at the end of the 90s, right? Like, they broke up. Rage Against the Machine is not together.
Well, they've reunited a few times and toured.
Sure, but Rage Against the Machine is not together. They released 3 albums and they broke up.
However, they have not officially disbanded, according to their wiki page and how the other guys who aren't Zach call it.
Fine. Rage Against the Machine is not together. Like...
Now they are prophets.
Now they're prophets of rage. Fine, because it's time for America to rage again. Which, whatever, they can make their money. But, like...
I didn't hate the album.
I haven't heard it.
It's not that bad.
But this album is so special. And it's so good.
What'd you give it?
I gave it a 4.8. I don't know if I've given a grade that high yet. I think maybe Volume 3 was that high.
Something like that. But I feel like Volume 3 was like, this is not a real grade. I'm just being biased. This sounds more like a legit one.
Yeah.
Math-wise, 4.7 for me. Like, I'm saying this is the third highest grade I've given in over 250 reviews. Like, that is the third best of over 250 albums. To be fair, the ones that got higher, y'all are going to fucking hate me. Yellow Wolf Trial by Fire, because I fucking love that project. I think it's
Haven't listened to it, can't comment.
one of the best rap albums I've heard ever in terms of my personal tastes. And I fucking loved Eminem's Revival. The math on that
no,
was
you
so
rated
good.
Eminem's Revival higher than this album?
It was just math.
Oh, that hurts me.
I know. It honestly
that
hurts
hurts
me
me.
too. It really does. But the math is the math.
Just
And-
because you said that, this album's a 5, okay? From me.
Whatever.
There you go. Just because.
But like Eminem
wow.
Revival is not an album.
Not that good an album.
I don't agree at all.
Oh,
I think
it's
it's so
fine.
fucking good.
It's fine.
It is. That's neither here nor there. But I really just love this. To be fair, 10 songs, any point that gets taken off hurts. I'm just saying. Look,
Yeah.
4.7. It's nearly fucking flawless. I love this project.
Wow. That
oh,
actually, like, I felt
sorry,
that.
I take it back. It wasn't Trial by Fire. That's a ridiculous statement. It was Nazilmatic.
That's fine.
Nazilmatic
That's fine.
was a 4.8.
That's fine.
And then Revival ended up being a little higher, which
Then Illmatic?
I know. Nothing about that
Whoa,
makes
man.
sense. Nothing about that makes sense. It's just how I
What did
graded
you
it.
rate the Marshall Mathers LP?
Like 4.5 something. 4.6, something in that, 7 even. Like they're really high marks.
It's just.
No,
it's
4.6
just
something.
weird.
It is weird, but when I listen to Revival, it's my favorite Eminem project. Okay, I listened to it today. I didn't listen to it today, but I listened to it recently, and I liked it more than in December.
He started from the bottom like a snowman. Oh man.
It's a good line, man. Okay, the way that song constructs. Do you still believe? I fucking love it because I still believe. Okay, Marshall, and I believe that Zach, you're awesome too. I love what you do at Run the Jewels. Okay, we're kind of whatever. This album's fucking great. This Rage album here. I know I said some ridiculous shit as we remembered my older album grades, but this album is the album that was missing from my life. It was everything I wanted of music rolled into a fucking shell. Like, I want proper political messages, dope-ass rhymes, and great fucking beats to back it, and I think that this is the most inspirational shit for me as an artist to want to grow. Like, I want to make a band now and go make rage music. But I could rap, so, like, I'll hold it down and fucking
But I
do
can
this
rap,
shit.
so fuck school. I'm too cool to go back.
Give me a mic. Show me where the fucking studio's at.
You rated Revival higher than that album.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
That album has some drips. Anyway.
Drips is a great song.
It's trash.
So
Fucking
good.
trash. I hate that song. But still, this album 4.7. Anyway, that's cool. We're kind of losing focus here. It's later than we'd like it to be. We're old men with jobs. So thank y'all for watching. Totally appreciate that. Just quick, big thanks to patrons Mozart, Linda Williams, Super Old School 1994. If you have any interest in supporting us like that, you can join the request raffle, which is going to happen fucking tomorrow, or no, it'll have happened yesterday when you watch this, but today it'll have happened tomorrow because this comes out on Friday and it's Wednesday night now. So we'll have done that, and those guys
That
get
meme
to
with the math.
Yeah, those guys will all throw in their favorite pick of what they want to see us cover, and then we pick one randomly, like last episode on the show. And we also give early access and some shit like that. We're gonna grow it. But if you don't want to do that, because I get that shit, I'm cheap too. Feel free to. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like so negatively. I'm a bit of a hypocrite asking for how little I support. But like, subscribe if you want to do that. I do subscribe, like, and comment to all sorts of people just because I don't want to be a hypocrite all the way around. So if you do feel this, feel free to do that, man, and I would appreciate it. I will read and respond to any of your comments, and if I said anything overly stupid, feel free to tell me to fuck off. Have yourself a wonderful day, everyone.